The Without Fear of Her Future podcast is for women who are passionately pursuing financial freedom through investing in real estate. We are here to empower you to be brave, dream big, and design a life you love. I'm your co-host, Tresa Todd, founder of the Women's Real Estate Investors Network and author of the book, Without Fear of Her Future.
And I'm Melissa Baker, real estate investor and fitness coach specializing in turning properties from drab to fab. I'm here to help motivate and inspire you to build your dream life because, girl, you deserve it. Welcome back to the Without Fear of Her Future podcast. Today, Tresa and I want to talk about something near and dear to both of us, but something we hear a lot of you are missing in your day-to-day lives. True, genuine, 100% authentic friendships.
That's right.
Now, most of you know, Tresa and I are very close friends, although we've only been friends for about 5 years. Our friendship runs very, very deep in that short time.
Yes.
So we want to talk to you today about all aspects of friendship.
Absolutely. We're going to discuss choosing friends, even losing friends, and the different types of friendships.
Yes, you know, you've heard that saying, people come into your life for a reason, a season, or a lifetime.
That's right.
We're going to talk about all of those today.
Yes.
So let's go way back and let's start with the long-time, lifelong friends.
Yeah.
I know we both probably have some friends.
Yeah.
This is the person who's been around through every season of your life. You've been through thick and thin. I know I have some. You've got some of those.
Yeah.
And those are really special friendships.
They are.
You don't talk to them every single day, but they're always there.
Absolutely. My mother happened to be best friends with a woman for, until my mom passed away. They were friends since they were in their teens. And so her daughter is 3 years older than me, and I was raised with her. So she is truly one of my best lifelong friends. So my entire life, I have gone to her for advice. She has been there for me. She's amazing. She's godly. She's fun. She's everything that you could want in a friend. And we have seldom ever lived in the same city. But I mean, there's never a moment that if there's a crisis, I know that I'm going to be one of the first that she calls, and vice versa. Yeah. And when I need some good godly advice, she's the one I'm going to.
Yeah, those lifelong friends are definitely the ones that you call when you need.
That's exactly
when the need
right.
is there, and they're always there. But that's what makes them so special. I've got one as well that we've been through babies and marriages and graduations, and we're fixing to go into wedding season with our children now. And it's just so fun having that kind of friendship and that one person or two people that you can just, you can count on.
Absolutely.
They've been there.
They know. They've been through every single thing that you've been through. They see it. They know it. And they still love you.
The good, the bad, the ugly.
That's exactly right. That's right. I often, tease her husband because, like, oh my gosh, he's on the other side. Listen to her tell, all of my ups and downs in life.
Stories.
But yeah, those
but
are priceless.
The lifelong friends aren't necessarily the ones that are involved in our day-to-day and out lives.
Yeah.
There's other groups of friends. So we've got the work bestie. Let's talk about, at work, you've worked in an office, the medical field. I've had office jobs as well and other jobs where you've just got that person you connect with that kind of understands your day-to-day drama and stress, and you get to connect on those levels, that person.
Well, and throughout my 25-year career, I have definitely had work besties, but I think of two specifically that, again, we seldom ever talk because I haven't worked with them in many, many years now, but I know that they're a phone call away. I'm a phone call away, and we still will text. We will send the text whenever. It's usually, hey, can you pray for my daughter, or can you pray for my son? And they still reach out, and I still reach out to them, and it's usually during those hard times. But I love them. We just don't talk. Yeah. That there's no hard feelings between us. We just all moved on with our lives, and we live, hours away from each other, but
in different situations. But it is always fun to reach out occasionally. I have some of those, and I love to just reach out and catch up, and see what's going on in their life, because so much is changing in mine, and I know that theirs has too. So the work friends, they might come and go, right?
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. Because there is that season of life friend. This is a friend that you have during just a certain season of life. Maybe it's through motherhood. Maybe it was a friend that you made when you were going through your divorce or you moved to a new city. But you don't really, maybe you don't stay besties for very long, but they were there for you in that season.
Yeah. I think the season of life friends are definitely the friends that God brings into our life for that season. I know I look back on my life and I remember the set of friends that I had right shortly after my husband and I had married and we were starting our family. And they were other moms that had infants as well. And we all became really good friends. And it was this nice little support system.
Yep.
And then that circle of friends changed as my children got into school. And now I've got, they're the mom's school friends, right? So that's a different group of women.
Yeah.
They're in that season of life. And then, when I went through the divorce, we've got that season of life.
Yeah.
And the Lord just continued to bring women into my life to support me and that I could support during those transition years and those time periods, those seasons. And the season of life friend, although they might not be there for long, they are so precious.
Absolutely.
So
I
precious.
have someone that I would put in that category. It was her and her husband both were just precious friends to me. She had 3 sons. I had 3 sons. She also had a daughter, but they all played football together. We hung, there was probably 10 years of our life that we spent so much time together and had so many memories and laughs and fun. And then we both moved away. And so we're still in touch. As a matter of fact, she just joined the Women's Real Estate Investors Network.
Oh,
yeah.
that's awesome.
And I'm so excited. And of course, she texted, and we've been texting back and forth about that. And I'm like, okay, maybe this is a season of friend that will come back into my life,
for sure.
And again, I've always loved her, and I know it's, reciprocated. But again, it was mostly that they were there for, I believe that God really does bring certain people into your life for a season. And I'm so grateful for the season that they were in.
And it's fun to look back and see the different seasons and the different friendships that were there. And I know mine, as I look back at these friends, none of the friendships ended. I'm still friends with them. I'm sure they're still in my contact list on my phone. I'm Facebook friends with them. So I'm keeping up with their lives. It's just we've moved on to different seasons and had other,
Absolutely.
Let's not forget about the fun friend. Let's talk about this because I have a couple of these, and they're fun. They're kind of the friend who's always up for a good time. They might not be the friend that you call in an emergency or that you want to share all of your secrets with, but they're always up for dinner or to meet for coffee, go to a movie, do the things with,
Those are needed too.
They are. And
absolutely.
They're good. They're good to have.
Yeah. And then my very favorite is what, we might call the soul sister.
And this is what we want to talk about today.
Yeah. I mean, this is when you know that you are meant to be friends. It's a friendship that is easily formed. It's deep. There's connection, shared beliefs and values. And just this is, Melissa, this is us.
It's us.
This is us.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, we could talk about this forever because a soul sister is that girl that that you can, she's just there for all of it.
All of it. You can share anything. She's a vault. She's your vault. She's the girl you share the secrets with because she's going to keep them. She's not going to gossip. And she's your go-to person. And you can spend hours or you can spend 5 minutes.
Yep.
Absolutely.
And the thing that I love about almost all these friendships that we've talked about today, but this is when you know you have a friend, is nobody's keeping up with who called who last.
Right.
Or, they're not pouting because you went off with another friend. There's not that jealousy. No. There's not all of the things. It's just, and maybe we go 3 days without talking, although I don't know that we've done that in a long time. But you just catch up.
Yeah.
And thankfully, I know we both have other friends that we would call soul sister.
We do.
That are just precious, that they know you. They have prayed for you in the dark times. They have been, I cherish friends that will speak life into me.
Yes.
That will speak the word of God into me.
Yes.
because so many times that's what we need.
We
don't need
yes.
somebody to get down in the dirt with us. Sometimes we do need somebody
sometimes.
to get down in the dirt with us and cry with us and defend us and all of those
Right.
things, but at the same time speak truth into us.
Right.
And you and I both are blessed to have some of those are the same friends, that we share that. But then
Definitely.
you've got some that, have been around forever, and I've got some. And those are precious and priceless. And, some people never have that in their lifetime. Yeah. So I'm so grateful for those friendships.
Which is, that aspect right there makes my heart hurt, because I think of the friendships and the things that we share, that I shared with my other soul sister friends. And I think that we're very blessed in that we have more than just each other. I love having a little group, this close-knit group of women. But even to have one to confide in, to just have that, and I mean, my husband is great. I am so blessed with him, but he doesn't always want to hear all the stuff that's going on in my head.
Yeah.
Whereas,
we don't talk, this new makeup I got or this new protein shake I have. Yeah, they're not, they don't care about all that stuff.
I don't keep secrets from him. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
But, there's some things that you just share with your girlfriends that he's not going to care about. And he's not going to have a lot of opinion about it or an input. So I think that's the soul sister that we're going to talk about today. For the women who don't have that, I would say that's something to be praying for.
Absolutely, because we need it's necessary. It's needed. God didn't call us to do life alone.
No.
We need each other.
No,
we need each other. And I think every woman needs at least one
Yes.
true friend that they can call on and that they can trust. We need authentic relationships where we know that we can trust one another. They're not judging us. They're not gossiping about us behind our back. And that's priceless.
It is. And we all stumble into that area sometimes with some of our friendships and choosing the wrong friends, which we're going to talk about in a little bit.
Yeah. But, when we talk about why friendships are important and necessary for our well-being, I believe that with all my heart. Now, I am the kind of person, I am an extrovert, so I love friends and I love lots of friends. And I am the kind of person that whenever I am going through something, even if it's a little thing, I need to talk it out. That's the way that's the way I have to talk it out. And friends are just priceless for that, for you, because sometimes I will not even know how I feel about something until I hear myself saying it out loud to someone. And that's healthy, I believe. So I think that's priceless. We need that emotional support from each other.
Absolutely.
We need somebody to believe in us.
Yeah, to encourage us and to have our back.
Yeah.
Right?
We need somebody that we can say the things that we can't say to anybody else. Sometimes we brag. We can say, I can say, I'm so proud of myself I did this. Well, I may not say that to somebody else,
right.
but we can say that to one another. And that I don't mean that in this, I can still be humble, but, just little things like that.
Yes.
And then the other thing is, I believe, laughter is good like a medicine. And I think that when you get a bunch of girlfriends together, just laughing and cutting up and making the jokes, you feel good after that. There's healing to the soul.
Yes. You're in the right group of women when there's really never a lull in the conversation. Or the laughter.
That's right.
I know that when our group of friends are together, all of us, I mean, you and I alone, we have our own moments, but, the group of us, it's so refreshing. It fills my cup to overflowing. And I know that you guys all feel the same way, where we have, we become better, right?
Absolutely.
We're getting filled up so we can go and give back to our families and our businesses and our coworkers.
That is exactly
the people in our lives. It's
Yes.
kind of like going to church, ladies.
It
I mean,
is.
you need to go to church because you need to be fed so that you can then turn around and feed the people in your life. But the same with friendships.
I so agree. I have been very blessed, so for 2 years in a row, I've had a friends retreat.
Yes.
And this is me grabbing my oldest friend that I just mentioned.
Your lifelong friends.
My lifelong friends. But then I have a couple other friends that I've been friends with for about 20 years. And then you, and then Danette, where I've been friends with y'all about 5 years. And I've brought y'all all together. And then another friend that probably been friends with about 10 years. We've done ministry together and just life together. And so every year I bring us all together and we do a friends retreat, and
Yes.
we just spend like 3 days together praying with each other, but also laughing and laying out in the sun and shopping and getting, doing spa days
Just
and
being girls.
being girls. And there is something so healing and so, we leave different
Yes.
than when we came.
Absolutely, we do.
Everybody's ready to go back and do life. And
Yes.
and so I want to encourage you that if you don't have that, girl, it can be yours.
Yeah.
You can do it. We need each other for confirmation, to bounce ideas off of, and the stress relief.
Yeah.
Again, like to process all of the things.
And it's like you said earlier, God created us for relationship. He never created us to be alone in this life, So these friendships are so valuable and so precious. Let's talk for a minute about making friends, because if you're in the group of women, and we're touching on this subject because we've heard from women in the network that really don't have friends, and it's kind of caught our attention. So we want to talk about making friends, because I think as when I was younger and raising my babies, it was kind of easy to make friends because you were just put among other women that you had the same thing in common, the same age children who were doing some of the same things, right? And you became friends with them. Those are those seasonal friends, right?
That's right.
They're there for a season. But we're talking about making lifelong friends, soul sisters that are there for all of it.
The older we get, the harder it is to make friends.
It is. You're right.
Yeah. And you have to really do this on purpose. You have to be very intentional about wanting to make friends.
Yes.
So how do we do that? How do adult women with families and businesses and jobs and all of the things, we all have very little time. How can you be intentional about making friends?
Well, you first of all put your phone down.
I agree.
I have a good example of this, actually. I have, I say recently, it's been 3 years almost, that I moved into a new city with my husband. We kind of were apart, 30 minutes apart for quite a while. And after our youngest graduated high school and went off to college, I moved to where the house that he had was in Grapevine, Texas. And I needed to make some friends on that side of the Metroplex. They were about 35 minutes away from here in Frisco where I had been. And so I had to get intentional. And so I started looking for a new church. And that, it wasn't comfortable. I was going to church by myself most of the time. My husband travels and is out of town a lot. My girls aren't home anymore. So I was going to church by myself, but I was putting myself out there. And once I found a church, I've had to really put myself out there in going to Bible studies and signing up to serve at church and doing some things that are a little bit uncomfortable, but so that I can meet some women. I do want some friendships,
I agree.
over in that area.
I love that. And you actually taking action.
Yes.
And you have made
friendships
friendships and gone to some dinners, and that's amazing. So really that's what it is about. It's about putting yourself out there, going to the gym, or, whatever your hobbies are, showing up to those places. And then you said it, when you show up, you've got to put your phone down. You can't be looking at your phone all the time. That's what's going on in our world today, is people have Facebook friends, but they don't have these true, authentic friendships.
Right. Yeah. Do you spend more time scrolling through your Facebook feed than you do actually having genuine conversations,
face-to-face, one-on-one? Yes, I think it's so important. So showing up, getting out there, making, what you're doing is putting yourself out there, and then making eye contact and saying hi. And, I think about when we were little girls in school, it was so easy. You could literally walk up to somebody and say, "You want to be my friend?" Or "You want to play?" And then you were just 5 minutes,
and
you're
just
playing, and you're friends. And I think we need to make that, we need to really make it that easy again. We can really, I know when you and I met, I was in a place, I had recently moved to Dallas. It actually had been several years, but I had not made really good friends. And I was desperate for friendships, and I was praying.
You had been praying for this.
I was praying.
Yes.
And I'm going to be honest, I prayed for specific kinds of friends. I wanted friends, first of all, that are godly, that love God, because we got to have that in common.
Yeah.
But I also wanted fun friends, that like to laugh and carry on. I like adventure. I like to shop. I like to brunch. So I wanted to have those in common. Not that my friends have to be identical to me,
Right.
but you want to have some things in common. And I had literally made this list of the kinds of friends that I wanted. And, you came into our office to give a testimonial of your experience inside the WREIN. And again, I think that we both showed up. We didn't plan on making a friend that day, but we were both there. We were paying attention. We had some things in common. And I don't even know which one of us said, hey, we need to go have lunch or let's go to dinner or something. And then we followed through with that. And one dinner led to another and another.
Right.
And now here we are.
Yeah.
And so it's going to take us being a little bit uncomfortable sometimes and saying and being the one that invites instead of always waiting to be invited.
Yeah. Which is what a lot of women do. It's that insecurity, which is why we stand around on our phones or doing something else. But yes, with us, I honestly believe that our friendship was a divine appointment because you had been praying.
Yep.
And I was coming into a new season of my life. I was about to be an empty nester and was going to be moving, which I didn't know. So it was kind of coming into a new season for both of us. But the divine appointment. So ladies, pray. If you don't have those friends that you desire, I love that you made a list. I'm glad that I made the list. That I had those characteristics. But that's not, I mean, it's kind of like when you're dating, right? Like you've got your non-negotiables when it comes to your dating life. If you're single, and then the things that, okay, I could live with this and here's what I want,
Absolutely.
It's the same thing with friendships.
I agree. I agree.
You've got to know what you're looking for.
So again, getting out there, I know you could, whatever your hobby is, show up in places like that because you're going to have something in common.
Right.
Or host a party or a book club or a dinner or a potluck. Just doing something where you're inviting some of those Facebook friends to come into your real life. Loneliness is an epidemic.
Gosh,
it is truly an epidemic. I just read this. I Googled this. 44 million adults report feeling lonely on a regular basis.
Wow.
Which leads to depression and anxiety, even underlying health conditions, and then most of all, suicide, which is heartbreaking.
It is.
Which just tells us how important friendships are.
Yes.
It's absolutely vital to our soul. It's vital to happiness is really what it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it goes back to, I feel like our culture has become so focused on social media and on things that aren't real and aren't genuine that you can't really grasp and touch. And I think there's a time and place for all of those. Yeah. But if those things start replacing this right here, this face to face, these, conversations that you have in person, that's a problem because you're right. The anxiety, the depression and the sadness, the suicide level rates that have gone up, it's really sad. And I can't help but wonder how much of it has to do with, us gearing towards the social media versus true, genuine friendships.
I wanted to talk about whenever I was praying for those friendships, I'm also very choosy about my friendships. And I have always been, even as a young girl, when I was writing the kind of girlfriends that I wanted, I didn't want girls that were into drama, into gossip, negativity. All of that is just toxic and dangerous, and I didn't want that in my life. And I can tell two stories because I was to be honest, I was almost in a desperate mode of needing and wanting those friendships. I was truly putting myself out there. And I remember on two different occasions, doing that same thing, being somewhere, inviting somebody that had what looked like the attributes of somebody that I would want to be friends with. We ended up going to, lunch a few times. But I noticed that negativity. I was like, every single time that we get together, she's got some story to tell me about, she was talking negative about somebody. And after 3 or 4 times, I'm like, man, is that really who I want to be friends with? And so I remember just saying, I'm going to not accept any more invitations to this. This is not the kind of friendship I wanted. Then there was another girl in that same time period that I can't even put my finger on it, But I knew whenever I walked away from us being together that I felt yucky.
Yeah.
It didn't leave me feeling like when you and I spend time together, we have laughed, we've enjoyed each other. Even if we were, even if it was a hard conversation that we're talking about things that are going on in our life, I was still uplifted and encouraged. Yeah. This gave me just the opposite. So I wanted to share that because I think it's important. Notice how you feel when you are with certain people. And if they're not bringing you up, you don't need that in your life. And be willing to walk away and go, that's not a friendship that's healthy for me, that's good for me.
I've had to do that with a friend who we shared some great, dinners, and we even did some traveling together. But there was just so much negativity and drama that she brought to the friendship, and that's what it all became centered around. And I really, it was affecting me in a negative way, and I could tell that. And so I really kind of had to let that friendship go, and it was sad, and it made me sad. But I also felt the leading of the Lord to do that. That wasn't where I was supposed to be in that season with that. And I had other friendships, to
lean on.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I love that.
I think that's important, though, to pray over your friends and for God to bring the right friends into your life, the women into our lives to surround us, to support us and motivate, but also for you to encourage. And not that every conversation and every interaction is going to be positive and wonderful. Right. We go through stuff. We have problems, and we have stuff that we can share with each other.
Drama in our own life.
Right. But I think the difference, and this is a topic for another podcast, is that we're able to see the light in the darkness. We're able to look at the positive even when things are bad. Yes. And I think that has to do with our faith.
Yeah.
And that's something that we have in common that's really important. So I think it's finding those values and beliefs that you have, and then seeking out the women who have those as well and share those, because that's going to take you through the good and the bad, the joy, the happiness, but also the sadness,
Yeah. Well, one of the last things that I think we wanted to discuss is losing some friendships, maybe through betrayal or just because something goes awry in the friendship. And this has only happened to me one time in my life, and I was 50 years old, but it is something I'll never forget. And it took me years to overcome it. And, if you look back on it, I made some mistakes, they made some mistakes, but we ended up just really hurting each other.
Right.
And boy, I have learned something from that I will definitely take through the rest of my life. But, sometimes those things just happen. And sometimes you just have to let loose maybe sometimes it is us letting loose of it. Sometimes it just happens.
Right.
And maybe there is a betrayal, or there's just somebody no longer wants to be your friend for whatever reason. And that is crushing. But we have to, again, overcome it. And that doesn't mean, well, I'm never going to trust another girl. I'm never going to trust another woman. We got to get over it. We got to heal, and we've got to move on. And I think we have to be good friends. We have to learn how to be a good friend. Yeah. We have to be able to keep secrets.
Absolutely.
I think that is priceless. That
it is.
If you tell me something, and if I tell you something, it's not going outside that.
I always say, if it's not my story, I'm not telling it.
That's right.
And that's, that is so important.
It certainly is. There's not a lot of people that can truly do that. If we're really, really honest, there's not a lot of people that have that discipline. Especially if it's juicy.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. Yeah. There's
the
a lot of
juicier
things,
it is, the harder it is to keep it a secret.
A lot of things that, from time to time that we might want to share with others that we have shared together with our group of friends. And
and we've even had things that we're waiting for one of our other friends to spill it, because we know it, but we're like, well, I can't tell her, but I can't wait for her to find out about this thing, so now we can talk about it. And those things aren't usually negative.
No.
They're just things that it wasn't, it wasn't the timing.
Wasn't our story to tell.
Exactly.
We had to wait for the
Yeah. That's the hardness, with everything. Just know that there's going to be some hurts and some pain. but never get hard-hearted that you and have that attitude where you just can't trust women, because I hear that often actually.
Well, forgiveness, we have to remember that forgiveness is for us. It's not for the other person. If you've been hurt by a friendship, it's just like being hurt by a spouse or hurt by the church or hurt by anything else in your life. The forgiveness is up to you.
That's right.
And just because you forgive, it doesn't mean what they did is okay, but it means that you're going to let go of it, and you're not going to let it keep you in that place of bitterness, because y'all, bitterness, it's a root and it grows fast.
That's right.
The only thing that bitterness does is it makes you miserable, and the other person doesn't care that you're miserable.
That's right.
They don't even know probably.
That's right.
Right. So
not only does it make you miserable, but really you're making everybody around you miserable.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you don't even realize it, that you're just vomiting bitterness on your family, your kids.
So the forgiveness is key when it comes to losing friendships. Forgive them and then bless them and release them. And I think the easiest way for me to forgive is to do what the Bible tells us to do. And it says, pray for your enemies. And our friends that leave us don't always they're not always really our enemies, but you pray for them. And I think praying for them, even if you don't know how, there's been lots of times I've been like, Lord, I don't know how to pray for her. I don't know what's going on. I don't know why this is happening. I lift her up to you. Yep. I give her to you. I release her into your care. Bless her, Lord. Let her have favor, and I let it be. But it heals my heart.
Absolutely. We had a little situation yesterday where I was telling you about a situation, and that's literally what you did. You started praying right then for that person, and this is somebody that was really angry, but you didn't. All you did was bless them, Lord. Just and give her peace, and I just speak life and grace over them, and so. Yeah, that's priceless.
Just think if everybody could learn to do that, like what our friendships would look like, what this world would look like, how much more peace would we have, how much less anxiety and stress and bitterness would we have?
Yeah. Well, I think that our challenge to you today, if you've been listening and you are, hopefully you have the soul sister and the work besties and all of the things in your life.
But the fun friends.
That's right. That's right. But if you don't, I hope that this has encouraged you to get out there and say, and be purposeful and say, I'm going to make 2 new friends. We've got 6 months left, in this year.
Yeah,
let's make 2 best friends. And get out there and show yourself free. That the Bible says a man who has friends must show himself friendly. And so you've got to be the one to get out there, put that phone down, make eye contact, say hi, say, hey, you want to be my friend? Let's go to dinner. Let's go get our nails done. Let's go, let's go shop. Let's do whatever the thing is.
Yep. Well, we thank you so much for joining us today. We hope that this has inspired you. We bless you. Dream big and be brave. Listeners, if you're aiming for financial freedom, dreaming of designing a life you absolutely love, or just curious about how real estate can transform your future, you're in the right place.
Yes, ladies, if that sounds like what you want, our MasterClass is the key. It's easy to understand, super straightforward, and packed with all the secrets you need to start investing in real estate confidently and successfully. Why wait to build your dream future? Join us and let us make your dreams a stunning reality.
Just click the MasterClass link in the notes below.
And we can't wait to begin this journey with you.